Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm GW Pomacher here in the studio while Allie Ingraham is at her very first pop culture convention. Allie, who are you hanging with now?
Hey guys, that's right. We are here at the Utica Children's Museum for the last day of We Need a Hero Con event fundraiser. All proceeds from yesterday and today's event go to support the Utica Children's Museum. We have creators of all industries here. We have artists, actors, directors, authors, performers, you name it. They are here supporting this great cause. Right now we are hanging with musician and actor Scott Schiaffo.
Not an easy one to pronounce.
No.
I know, it's got a lot of weird vowels and things, and some people say Schiaffo, 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 Schiaffo. It all works. It all works.
You know who you are, right?
Right.
So you play the guitar, keyboards, what else?
Bass,
harmonica, bass.
Correct, yeah.
How did you get into music?
Oh God, since I could remember, I loved music. I had an older cousin who, growing up, he was like a big brother, father figure, because it was just, I was raised by a single mom. And he was a big music fan. And now this is, I'm going to date myself, which is fine. This is the 60s and 70s. I was born in 63, so I grew up with the Beatles, the Stones, Zeppelin, the British stuff, a lot of what's really considered the classic rock now. But I just fell in love with music. And my mom bought me a guitar, she got me some lessons, and I never looked back. I wanted it so badly. I just put a ton of time into it, you know, and luckily I seem to have a natural affinity for it, or you know, some natural talent with it, and I just took off with it. But the only thing that's a close second is I love a film. I love films and I love film acting.
Oh, awesome. That's what I was just going to say. What inspired you to go into acting?
You know, I'm not sure what actually pushed me to. I caught the bug high school, college age, having a love for film and television, but feeling like somehow I don't know why, but I felt like I could do it. You know, I wasn't sure. My mother always joked, and she used to call me Marlon. It was sort of like Marlon Brando, because when I got in trouble, I would act my way out of it or whatever. I was like a big act, you know, Marlon. I didn't even understand what that meant too much until I grew up and understood who Marlon Brando was. But high school got the bug, did some high school plays, and then in college it really hit hard. And right around that time is when independent film started becoming a bigger thing. We had a little local cable access, cable TV, if people remember what that is. Local cable access show. We did a little sketch comedy group, and it just grew from there, and I loved it so much that I think persistence is a big part of what happens for actors and musicians. Talent is obviously important, but being professional and having persistence, if you love it that much, just keep at it, you know, and hope for the best. So that's kind of like the story, more or less.
Very good. You wrote a book. Tell us about your book.
The book is called Vicious Dogs Attack Me and Sleepless Nights of Summer. It's a collection of short stories and poems that were written in the late 80s, early 90s, definitely during the time we were shooting the movie Clerks. I had a severe alcohol and drug problem for many years. 15 to, I rounded off to 20, but from my early 20s to my early 40s, it was bad, really bad. But somehow I managed to be able to get my head above it enough to write, at least, and then write my experiences down. But thankfully I'm clean and sober now many years. It'll be 11 years this summer.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. But a manager I'd been working with had said, why don't we clean up that stuff, because it was all literally written on typewriter way back then.
Oh yeah.
And why don't we put it out now, and I think it would be a good time, and the timing was right. It got a nice reaction. It felt like a real blessing to get it out there.
Fabulous. You also have an audio CD called Shoestring Serenade.
Correct.
All of those proceeds go to a foundation, Angels of Animal Rescue.
Correct.
So tell us about that, that foundation, and why you chose.
Well, Angels of Animals is located basically 1 or 2 towns over from where I live in Bergen County. So I found them, and because I wanted to do this, my love of animals just grew exponentially over the last handful of years, because my lady friend, big animal lover, and I always liked animals a lot, but I fell in love with cats, especially feral cats. So I saw that this was a nice bridge. My friends from the films were very gracious to sign a bunch of things every couple of months and give me a new supply, put them up online, and they sell, and at least 90% of all the money goes straight to the animals, and it's a good deal because the fans get reasonably priced, really quality collectibles, and the animals get the lion's share of the money.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
It's become a really a big part of my personal life when I'm not doing either conventions or acting or the different things I'm involved in.
That's
just love animals.
And we're going to put that in our link.
Oh, great.
To your
Wonderful.
shelter, okay?
Wonderful.
What's the favorite role, your most favorite role you've ever played?
I think I did a film with a filmmaker named Tom Zanka. The film is called Linger. It's available on Amazon, and it's on streaming too, I believe. It's almost somewhat of a throwback. It's very tame in the sense of it could have been an after-school special. There's no sex, no violence. It's a small-town detective who's nursing a broken heart because he lost his daughter young. She died of a drug overdose, and he didn't really get over it because he blames himself. But he gets involved in another young girl's life who's in a lot of trouble. And it's just a really sweet story, and it's very different for me because usually I play, like with Clerks or some of the other films that I'm a little more known for, play like loudmouth jerks, And this guy in Linger is a really down-to-earth, salt-of-the-earth kind of small-town detective guy. So it's one of my favorite projects.
That sounds good. Is there any memorable, funny moments that happened to you on set?
Well, there is something that happened at the audition for Clerks, actually. Yeah, it's on the IMDb, but I lived 2 hours away from all of those guys. They were South Jersey, based in South Jersey, Red Bank and the Shore, Leonardo. And I'm up in northern New Jersey, like 10 minutes out of New York City. So I drove like 2 hours just one way to the audition. And back in those days, I was always very early for everything, so I was very early. And it was a little shore town, it was at the Atlantic Highlands. So the shore wasn't far from where the theater was where they were doing the auditions. So I wandered out onto a jetty. It was off season. I wandered out onto a jetty and I began rehearsing my monologue. So not realizing from the shore, it looked like there was a lunatic out on the jetty because I'm gesturing wildly. And back then there were no cell phones or whatever. So this guy's either inebriated or he's going to hurt himself or he's talking. Something's not right with that guy. So when they called me in, this is beach security. He said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, I'm rehearsing my audition for the theater down the block. Please, if you're going to arrest me, let me audition first." They're like, "No, just stay off the jetty, man."
Oh no!
So that was probably one of the more interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah.
I think that tops everything.
Yeah.
Wow, almost got arrested. Is there anything that you haven't done that you want to do? Yeah.
That's an interesting question. I feel very fortunate. I'm one of these guys that really every day is a gift because I've been through a lot with the alcohol and drug abuse. The fact that I am sobered up and clean of illicit drugs now this long is a gift. A bigger gift is the obsession to want to use was kind of removed, which is a real gift because I struggled for years quitting and hating my life without it, hating my life with it. Life with It always won. It was terrible, terrible. My heart breaks for people with alcoholism or drug addiction. It ruins families. It's a terrible thing. But every day's a blessing. Plus, I overcame a lot of health issues. So, as far as a real specific thing I haven't done yet, no. I just, every day is a gift, and I try to live it that way and just get out there and make the most of it.
Oh, that's fabulous, Scott. Are you currently working on anything?
We did a movie called Vulgar back in 2000. Brian O'Halloran, who's the lead in Clerks, is also the lead in the movie Vulgar. I had a nice supporting part. And it's a cult film. It's a little bit more of a cult film than Clerks. Clerks is a little more mainstream now, like more people know it. Vulgar was done by a lot of the same people. It's known by a lot of the people that like Kevin Smith movies, but it's not as big. But I just found out recently, Brian Johnson wrote it. He's one of the comic book men. They're doing a sequel. So, and they're bringing back, of course, they're bringing back Brian's character. He's the lead, but I found out my character's coming back. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So that's very new. We just found that out a couple of weeks ago. So that'll definitely be in the future.
Awesome. Great. How is it working with Brian? Like, how's your relationship on and off screen? Are you really good friends, like brothers?
Brian and I were not close the first, like, from the time we shot Clerks, we didn't know each other. We met on the set, and it was very serious business, even though we had a lot of fun on the set. You know, Kevin ran it very professionally. It wasn't like, for my part, I was there a handful of days and that was it. They were there every day. And they were working really hard. So it wasn't like, the atmosphere wasn't one of just hanging out and really having fun. We were having fun as we were shooting, but we didn't become buddy-buddy or anything of that nature. But the last 10 years of doing conventions together, we've become very close. And I got to tell you, I love the guy. He's been very good with me. He actually showed me a lot of the ropes with the conventions. When we do a convention where we drive, he's the wheelman. He comes up, he picks me up in northern New Jersey, coming out of Staten Island. He's a sweet, sweet guy. He loves to break chops. He's funny, but underneath, he's really a super sweet, caring guy.
Yeah, he is. I really enjoyed interviewing him. How was it working with Kevin Smith?
It was great. I tell you, of course, none of us had any clue what we were working on would eventually have the impact that it did. We just hoped for the best. I remember, because I was a little bit older than a lot of the other cast. I was already in my late 20s, almost 30. There were some other people older than me, of course. But out of the younger crew, and people assume we were all early 20s, I was a little bit older. I was immediately impressed with Kevin's vocabulary and just conversating with him and talking about movies, because he obviously loved movies and films, and I was a big indie film fan and just film fan in general. So we connected well, and the discussions were funny, and he just had such a command of language. I remember being really impressed by that. And lo and behold, the guy does have a gift for words. His scripts are usually quite verbose, but that's because he's got a great way with dialogue.
That's awesome. Guys, I've had so much fun hanging with Scott today.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Ellie. That was amazing. As we wrap it up here, we want to say thanks to our friends at Something Unique Magazine, the Florida Book News, Wordfire Press, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies, all the folks who share these videos on the World Wide Web. We've been hanging with Ellie Ingraham from the floor of We Need a Hero Con in upstate New York. I'm GW Pomacher. Remember, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next. Okay.